Well, hi there, and welcome to our Sunday Song Time, but not just any Sunday Song Time. No, this is our first Sunday song in the year 2023. Yes, Happy New Year to you here on this January 1st, 2023 day. And I have a song for you, and I'll explain why I'm about to do this song on this particular day in just a moment. But first of all, it comes from the pen of MacLellan, and a lot of us here in Canada will know that name. And if we don't know the name, we'll certainly know a couple of his songs. And as a young guy growing up in the 70s here in Canada, I just really liked MacLellan's music. And his was a difficult life. And he struggled with mental health his whole life. And but he also was a man of faith. Now, if you don't know the name MacLellan, well, like I say, you'll probably know a song he wrote that Anne Murray recorded called Snowbird. Yes. And he wrote a couple other great songs as well, but this one was also a worldwide hit, and it was done by a group called Ocean back in, I guess, around 1970, part of the Jesus movement. And the song is called Put Your Hand in the Hand of the Man from Galilee. And like I say, it's one you'll know. And I decided to do it this morning because, well, today, and I'm going to be mentioning this as part of my Sunday sermon today, and I pretty much mention a little poem. And I pretty much mention it every year. It was way back, something like 30 some odd years ago now, that a listener to my little radio show sent me the words to this poem, and I pretty much try to read them every New Year's. And the woman who gave them to me, she was quite elderly at the time, so I'm assuming she's passed on by now. But she was from England, and these words meant a lot to her. You see, it was the King of England, King George VI, who read them during his first Christmas broadcast of 1939, Christmas Day 1939. I think probably this woman was even listening to that broadcast on the radio. Now, if you saw the movie The King's Speech, you'll remember his difficulty in using this relatively new medium called radio. Well, I mean, for centuries, the king or queen would just issue, some kind of a proclamation, and some professional would read them out to the people, right? Hear ye, hear ye. But radio, it meant that for the first time, people all over the country at the same time could hear their monarch talk to them in his or her own voice. And, well, King George, as you may know, he suffered from a terrible stutter. Yes, he was not looking forward to this at all. In fact, as you know some of his story, he wasn't even planning on being king. He didn't want the job, but a professional speech therapist was hired to help him overcome his speech impediment and allow him to bring a message, a much-needed message of hope, really, because, well, 1939, that was the year the world was plunged into yet another world war. And now, by the way, if it's been a while since you've seen the movie, or maybe you've never seen it and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to rent The King's Speech, as good a movie as it is, I do need to at least warn you that you do need to prepare yourself to hear every swear word known to humankind in that movie. Well, when you watch the movie, you'll know why. But as he sat in front of two very large microphones on a table in his study in Sandringham, with large parts of the world facing an uncertain future, the king wanted to reassure his people. He said, "A new year is at hand. We cannot tell what it will bring. If it brings peace, how thankful we shall all be. If it brings us continued struggle," which, as you know, it did, he said, "we shall remain undaunted," which they did. In the meantime, he said, "I feel we may all find a message of encouragement in the lines which, in my closing words, I would like to say to you all." And he read from, well, this poem that I mentioned that just woman gave to me all those years ago. And the poem was written by M. Louise Haskins way back in the year 1908. The poem was called God Knows. And the words were given to King George by his wife. And, some of us are old enough to remember her as the Queen Mom. And by the way, at her funeral in 2002, she died at the age of 101, these same words were read again. And, here today, at the beginning of 2023, and very much like the last several years now, we realize in many ways this year is just as uncertain as any other. The king quoted this. He said, "And I said to the man who stood at the gate of the year, 'Give me a light, that I may tread safely into the unknown.' And he replied, 'Go out into the darkness, and put your hand into the hand of God. That shall be to you better than light, and safer than a known way.' So I went forth, and finding the hand of God, trod gladly into the night. And he led me toward the hills and the breaking of day." And I guess now you kind of know why I want to do this song. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself, and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Every time I look into the holy book, I want to tremble when I read about the part where the carpenter cleared the temple. For the buyers and the sellers were no different fellers than what I profess to be. And it causes me shame to know I'm not the man that I should be. So put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself, and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Mama taught me how to pray before I reached the age of 7. And when I'm down on my knees, that's when I feel closest to heaven. Daddy lived his life for 8 kids and a wife, and you do what you must do. But he showed me enough of what it takes to help to get you through. So put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the seas. Take a look at yourself, and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Oh, sing it with me now. Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the waters. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the seas. Take a look at yourself, and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Yeah, put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Put your hand in the hand. He'll lead you, won't he? He'll lead you through, an unknown year like 2023. Hey, listen, just about running out of time here. Don't want to keep you too long. You've got things to do. But want to share just a couple of words, and these get shared a lot on New Year's time from the scriptures, right? The well, we tremble as we look into this holy book sometimes, don't we? But it's a prayer of Moses, the man of God. And so that makes this probably the oldest psalm, Psalm 90. And just a couple of verses. First of all, the first couple of verses where it says, Lord, you've been our dwelling place throughout all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world. From everlasting to everlasting, you are God. And talks about various things about God and the awesomeness of him. It says our days may come to 70 years, or 80, if our strength endures. Yet the best of them are but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass, and we fly away. And and now that's not a guarantee you're going to live to 70 or 80, but that's kind of generally what it is, even today, isn't it? And then it says this, teach us to number our days. This is verse 12 of Psalm 90. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. And that idea of numbering kind of has the idea of weighing our days. And we realize that in light of eternity, those days are pretty light, whether we live 70 or 80 or not quite as long as someone like a Gene MacLellan, or maybe longer. They still don't weigh a whole lot when weighed in light of eternity. And so we need to gain a heart of wisdom in realizing just how fleeting our days actually are. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy and be glad all our days. Hey, as we put our hand in his, as we make him part of our day-to-day life, there's a New Year's resolution for you. May we sing for joy and be glad, even though there will be difficult days. In fact, he mentions difficult days and even the years we've seen trouble. And then it ends this way, Psalm 90, may the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. May the things you do and the things you accomplish, may they be those kinds of things in which the Lord will be pleased with. And may you have even more accomplishments, even more strength, and all those kinds of things that we need because your hand is in his. Actually, maybe even more important is that he's taken your hand in his. He's holding on. He's not going to let go. And so I hope you'll think about those, all those different words that I've left you with today, from the Word of God, from an ancient poem, and from a man I'm really hoping to see and meet someday, Gene MacLellan. God bless him. God bless you as you put your hand into the hand of God and step out into a brand new year. Happy New Year. God bless you.